Okay, so good morning everyone. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about the documentary Prince of Yens. Okay, that we stopped from last time. Last time we talked about how the Central Bank of Japan recover the whole economy. Okay, and how the Bank of Japan intended to creating a bubble in the economy. Okay, so they use what we call credit creation. Okay, they use a policy about credit creation. Okay, create more credit, lend a lot of money to the economy, lend a lot of money to the company. Okay, the policy that they use we call a window guidance. Okay, window guidance. Okay, window guidance is how the Central Bank of Japan, BOJ, Bank of Japan, push and force the commercial bank to lend a lot of money, lend a lot of credit to some specific industry, to some specific company. Okay, the industry that the company that they believe that is going to be the key of economic growth of Japan. Okay, so then by doing this, okay, economy of Japan recover very well. Okay, recover very well after, even though they lose World War II. Okay, in only a decade, Japan become the second largest economy in the world. And then after that, they don't stop. They keep creating more credit. They keep inject more money into the economy because they intend. Professor Richard Werner, okay, the one that write this book, the one that doing this documentary, Professor Werner say that, okay, he say that the Bank of Japan is actually intend to creating a bubble in the economy for some hidden agenda. Okay, so then they push more. Okay, push more. The Central Bank of Japan push more on the commercial bank to give more loans to the company, to the people, creating even more credit until they have a big bubble. Okay, as you can imagine that if you can borrow easily money. Okay, if you as a household or you as a company, if you are easily borrowing the money, you can keep spending a lot of money, buying the first house, buying the second house. Okay, for the company, if they can borrow a lot of money, they can expand their factory, they can increasing their production, right? This is good. But on the other hand, if you borrow the money and you spend that money in stock market, if you spend that money to buy a land, to buying a building or something like that, this is not good for the economy because everything is going to be more expensive. Land is going to be more expensive. Asset, stock become more expensive, creating a big bubble. Okay, so then what happened in Japan is many companies decide to, okay, not only producing something, not only do the manufacturing, but also start doing the speculation. Okay, speculation is mean use the new borrowing money to speculate on something, speculate on stock, speculate on land, speculate on asset. Until one day, okay, the Central Bank of Japan keep push, okay, creating more credit, keep using window guidance, keep inject more money into the economy until one day the bubble bursts and then they have a big economic recession, a big crash. They call a big crash. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the crash of Japanese economy. Okay, today we're going to talk about the crash. Can you see it? Okay, that's good. Okay, we're going to talk about the crash of the Japanese economy. Okay, before we talk about the crash of the Japanese economy, they actually have one indicator. They actually has one indicator that's warned them that the recession, the recession of the economy is coming. Okay, one indicator that is very interesting. They call non-GDP based loan. Okay. Okay. Non-GDP based loan. Okay, as you know, loan is the money that you borrow, the money that the company, the factories borrow. Okay, GDP is a gross domestic product. Okay, non-GDP based loan. What does it mean? Okay, it means a loan which is not used for the production of goods and service. Okay, so a non-GDP based loan is a loan which is not used for the production of goods and service. Okay, so what I want to say is, when the company, when the corporation borrow the money is not bad at all. Borrow the money is good. If you spend that money to increase the production, if you spend that money, invest that money to produce something new, okay, produce more product, produce more service. The more you produce, the more company, the more corporation provide the service. It means that the whole economy can produce more, okay? So then GDP is going to be increasing. However, if you borrow the money and you invest that money, spend that money on something else that is not related to the production of the country, this is bad, this is not good, okay? So this indicator, okay, is very interesting and is very nice in the term of, if the central bank or someone in the government look at this one, if this number is high, it's going to warn you that something going to turn bad in the economy, okay? And again, this is a loan, the money that the company, the people borrow in which is not used for the production of goods and service. So what does it mean if you borrow a lot of money and you didn't spend that on the production of goods and service? So this one is referred to, okay, when the company, the corporation borrow a lot of money and then spend that money on something else. Okay, in this case, in the case of Japan, they borrow easily money, they borrow a lot of money and they spend that on land, building, real estate, okay, some asset, okay, stock, okay. So they buy land, they buy real estate, they buy some asset, they buy the stock because they are hoping that in the future it's going to become more expensive so they can sell it for profit. This one we call speculation, okay. This is not good because when you buy land, okay, in order to sell it in the future, it doesn't increase any production in the country. When you buy the stock, okay, when you buy the stock, it's just changing the hand, okay, the stock from one people going to the other people, okay, the stock just move from one people to the other people. This one doesn't, okay, increase the production of the country, okay. So by doing this, the speculation is doesn't, okay, increasing the GDP of the country, so it's not good at all, okay. So then after you know this one, okay, the non-GDP based loan, they can use a number on this one to calculate it, okay, the ratio. Okay, so this one is ratio of loans for non-GDP base to a total loans, okay. The ratio of loan for non-GDP base to the total loan. For example, the total loans, the total money that the company, the corporation borrow from the banking system, the total loan is 100%. If the loan that go to the non-GDP base is very high, okay, so it means that in your economy they have something wrong, okay. If people borrow a lot of money and put it in the land, in the stock market, this is wrong. So if the ratio of this one is high, for example, the ratio maybe 0.4 is mean normally the people in this economy spend 40% of the loan on something else that doesn't related to the production. Okay, this is bad. So if this ratio is high, it means that the company in your country spend a loan, the money that they borrow on something else that doesn't relate to the GDP, doesn't relate to the production. So this is bad. Okay, this is an indicator that can show you whether your economy, okay, gonna be bad in the future. Okay. So then one of the nice number that the documentary is showing is in Japan. Okay, total private sector land wealth. Okay, the total private sector land wealth. Okay, land wealth. Okay, in Japan, 1969 is worth at 14.2 trillion yens. Okay, trillions yen. 1969, before they have a bubble, okay, the land in the hand of private is worth only 14.2 trillion. But after 1969, after the central bank keep lending a lot of money to the corporation, to the company, and they keep spend that money to speculate on the land price, okay, then 1989, only 20 years after the central bank intended to creating a big bubble, okay, and then the company borrow a lot of money and buying a land, okay, the land price, okay, the land value increasing from 14.2 trillion to 2,000 trillions, okay, from 14 trillion to 2,000 trillion. And you can see this how crazy it is, okay, how crazy it was, okay. So this is one of the nice indicator that they have a very big bubble in the Japanese economy. Big bubble, everything is very expensive. Land price, okay, land value increasing a lot, okay, increasing a lot, more than 100 times, okay, more than 100 times. So then, how the crash come from? How the crash come from? Okay. So we have this guy, okay, the governor of BOJ. Okay, his name is Yasushi Mieno. Okay, his name is Yasushi Mieno. Okay, this guy is the governor of the Bank of Japan. Okay, in 1989. Okay, 1989. Okay, so then this guy, okay, is the governor in charge of Bank of Japan. In 1989, they say that, okay, he say that, okay, now the bubble is very big, we should stop. Okay, so he put the restrict on the real estate lending. Okay, put a restriction on real estate lending. Okay. In the other word, it means that in 1989, after Mieno, okay, the governor of Japan, okay, decided to put more restriction on the real estate lending, it means that now it's difficult to borrow the money to buy a real estate, to buy a land, to buy a building. Okay, so it means that now the easy money no more, stop. Okay, so then because of this one, okay, people in the economy become afraid that the golden time is already gone. So, okay, the golden time of easy money, the golden time of easy to get the money, easy to borrow a lot of money is already gone. So then people feel fear that the whole economy gonna collapse. Okay, the bubble gonna burst, and then it's burst. Okay, in 1990. Okay, because of this policy, the central bank slowed down, stopped lending easy money to the company. Then in 1990, stock market in Japan crashed, going down 32%. Okay, 32%. And then July 1991, okay, window guidance was abolished. Okay, window guidance was abolished. Okay, 1989 put the restriction on the real asset lending. After that, the stock market crashed, and after that, they stopped doing window guidance. Okay, so window guidance was abolished. Okay, no more easy money, no more easily borrowing money. Okay, no more. Okay, so then the whole economy of Japan become going down to the recession, the bubble burst. Okay. Okay, because of this, in only 3 years, because of this, they say that 5 million people lost their job. Okay, and then what else? Suicide. Many people decide to make a suicide. Suicide becomes number 1 cause of death for the man in the age of 20 to 34, 20 to 44. This is really bad. Okay. However, when economy bursts, the whole economy going down. Okay, stock market going down, land price going down, people lose a job. Okay, everything turns to be bad. Okay. However, the author of this book, okay, Professor Richard Werner, say that it's actually Bank of Japan. Okay, Bank of Japan intended to build the bubble, and Bank of Japan themselves make the bubble burst. Okay, because this Professor Richard Werner say that even though Yasushi Miedo, okay, is the one that stopped lending easily money, stopped the policy of the window guidance, but he actually in charge of this policy. He actually in charge of creating a bubble by himself. Okay, before 1989, because he was deputy, okay, governor, okay, during bubble era. Okay, so this is what Professor Richard Werner tried to say, that okay, Bank of Japan creating a bubble, and Bank of Japan itself, okay, destroy the bubble, okay, for some purpose, okay, and then he quotes what Mr. Miedo say to the public, okay. This one good, done, okay. Okay, this guy, Yasushi Miedo, after the bubble burst, after the whole economy collapsed, he said that, okay, thanks to this realization, okay, Okay, Mr. Miedo said that, okay, thanks to this recession, everyone is becoming conscious about the need to implement economic transformation. Okay, so the Professor Richard Werner tried to say that Mr. Miedo, okay, as the governor of Japan, intended to build the bubble by themselves and then destroy the bubble, make the economy become, okay, going down very bad, have a recession, because they want to have an economic transformation for the whole country. Okay. Okay, so far so good. Okay. Okay, so after they have a crisis, okay, after the whole economic crash, okay, the government of Japan try to recover the whole economy. What they try to do is Ministry of Finance, MOF. Again, during that time, Bank of Japan still under the power of Ministry of Finance. Okay. So after the bubble burst, after the whole economy crash, okay, Ministry of Finance tried to force Bank of Japan, okay, to lower the interest rate down. Okay. They're hoping that if they lower the interest rate down enough, okay, if the interest rate is low enough, okay, the whole economy is going to be recovered. They lower the interest rate down until it's reached the lowest point of Japan history. Okay, during that time, interest rate is only 0.1%. Only 0.1%. Interest rate is very low. What does it mean? Interest rate is very low. It means that the cost of borrowing money is low. So they hope that if the real estate is low enough, people are going to start borrow more to revive their factory, to revive their company, to revive their business. Okay, they're going to start to produce more. The whole economy, they're going to start to hire more labor, and the whole economy is going to be recovered, going up. Okay, they hope that it's going to be like that. By theory, it should be like that. By economic theory, if interest rate going down, people are going to borrow more and invest more, people are going to borrow more and consume more. The whole economy is going to be recovered. However, for the case of Japan, it doesn't work. Okay, for the case of Japan, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because of Bank of Japan. Okay, because Bank of Japan control how much money the commercial bank can lend out. So even though the real estate is low, however, the commercial bank can lend the money out very small because the central bank pushed many of the restrictions. So since it's difficult to borrow the money, even though the real estate is low, but even though the interest rate is low, but it's very difficult to borrow the money, then the fresh money going to the economy very low. Okay, so it's difficult to find the money. The business, everything is turned to be bad. Okay. Not only that, Ministry of Finance also pushed Bank of Japan to, okay, devalue the yen. Okay, devalue the yen. Okay, Ministry of Finance tried to push the Central Bank of Japan, try to lower the value of the yen down. Why they want that? Okay, if they can devalue the currency yen to be going down, if yen is weak, it means that everything that made in Japan is going to become cheaper. Okay, when everything that made in Japan becomes cheaper, it means that the product that produced in Japan can export more to the rest of the world. Okay, if they can export more, they're going to earn more, a lot of money, foreign money, a lot of money going to flow in Japan. Their economy can be recover going up. Okay, this is This is what Ministry of Finance try to push Bank of Japan to do that. Okay. Not only that, the government of Japan also spend more. Okay, spend more to boost the economy. Okay, to boost the economy. The government of Japan also spend more on many projects to boost the economy. You can think about that. If they spend more on the high-speed train, if they spend more, build more highway, it means that they're gonna hire more labor, right? People are gonna get a job, people are gonna get the money, okay? The production gonna be increased, the economy gonna be recovered. However, if the government spend more, it means that they have to borrow more money. So the debt of the government gonna be increased. So by doing this, government debt increasing a lot. Okay, government debt increasing a lot. Between 1992 to 2002, okay, they borrow the money, the debt, okay, is around 14.6 trillion yen. Okay, the government debt between 1992 to 2002, okay, they borrow around 14.6 trillion yen, okay, trillions yen, okay. In 2020, okay, Japanese government debt reached 230% of the GDP, okay, highest in the world. Okay, highest in the world. Okay, this is very bad for them. Okay, the government spend more to boost the economy, creating more debt until the debt of the government, or sometimes we call public debt, reach 230% of the GDP. Okay, 200% of the GDP. And unfortunately, okay, even though they spend a lot of money to the economy, actually by the economic theory, when the government spend more, okay, the economy should be going up, should be recovered. However, in the case of Japan, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because of Professor Werner tried to explain that it doesn't work because of Bank of Japan. Okay, because of Bank of Japan. Again, Bank of Japan again. Okay, because even though on one hand the government spend more, the money go into the economy, but on the other hand, the central bank try to push the money out of the economy. Okay, so that's why it doesn't work. Okay, again, even though on one hand the government spend more the money flow into the economy, but on the other hand, the central bank, okay, try to take the money out of the economy, okay, by selling the asset to the economy. Okay. For example, selling bond or something like that. If they're selling asset to the economy, the assets flow to the economy, but they take the money out. Okay? So the number of money in the economy still didn't increasing. So that's why the economy is not increased. Okay? So what we can learn from this case is it's very important to have enough quantity of money in the economy. Okay? If you want the economy to be recovered, to be going up, you need to creating more money, okay, just like what they did after World War II, okay, creating more money, creating more credit, lending more money. But in this case, it's not work, because even though the government spend more, but the central bank, okay, take the money out. Okay, the central bank take the money out. The central bank didn't try to do it in the same way. Okay. So then what happened? They have a bad cycle in the economy. Okay, Professor Werner tried to explain that they have a bad cycle in the economy. Okay, so let me write down. Okay. No loan growth economic growth. Okay, so since for the company, for the corporation, it's difficult to borrow the money. It's difficult to get a new fresh money. No loan growth. Okay, no loan growth because the Central Bank of Japan control how much money they can borrow, control how much money the banks can lend the money out. So then no loan growth leading to no economic growth. Okay, Japan have an economic recession. Okay, stop growing. Okay, and then no economic growth coming back leading to no loan growth. Okay, economic is bad. Banking afraid to give the money, to lend the money. Then since they don't lend the money out, the company also turning back. Okay, when the company turning back, economic growth going down. Okay, economic is turning back. When economic turning back, okay, no loan growth. Okay, no the money, they don't lend the money out. Then the circle is keep doing like this. Okay, keep doing like this. So the economy of Japan staggering. Okay, staggering in the recession for more than a decade. Okay, for more than a decade. Okay. Then, now we're going to talk about the power of central bank. What central bank can do. Okay, the power of the central bank. Actually, the problem in Japan during that time that they have a crisis is actually not difficult at all to solve. Okay. So, okay, Professor Richard Werner said that for Bank of Japan, okay, it's not difficult at all to solve the economic crisis problem during that time. What the central bank can easily do is just follow the same step after World War II. Okay, so Bank of Japan can buy all bad debt. Okay, and bad asset. We call as a bailout. Okay, with new created money. Okay. This is what central bank can do. Okay, again, central bank have a responsibility to control the number of money in the economy. Central bank is the one who can create the money. So then you can imagine that in the crisis, when the economy have a crisis, okay, the banking system had bad debt, bad asset. What does it mean by bad debt and bad asset? Okay, for example, if I am a one person, I am a household, if I want to borrow the money to do the business, okay, when I want to borrow the money, I have to put my asset to the bank. For example, I have one house. I want to borrow 1 million baht. In order to borrow 1 million baht, I have to put my asset to the bank. So if I cannot pay back my debt, okay, they're gonna take my asset away. Okay, so in the economy, many companies doing like this. Okay, all the companies in the economy put their asset to the bank. That's why they have an ability to borrow the money. Okay, to do their business, to do the production or something like that. When the economy turns bad, when they have the crisis, okay, so then many companies fail to pay back the debt. When they fail to pay back the debt, it means that the asset in the bank turn bad. Okay, turn bad because the bank gonna get that asset away. Okay, so then the company cannot borrow more money, and the bank have all the asset but no money at all. Okay, so everything gonna be bad. The company is bad. The banking system is bad because no cash, no money in the system. Okay, so what the central bank can do is They actually did it before in World War II. What central bank can do is, okay, you have a bad asset, right? You don't have the money, right? Give the bad asset to me. Okay, give the bad asset to me, and then I pay you a new fresh money that I just created. Okay. By doing this, very easy. By doing this, I'm gonna take all the bad asset back to me. I am Bank of Japan. I take all the bad asset to me, and then I pay them a fresh creating money. So after they get the money, they can lend the money out to many companies. After the company get the money, they can invest the money in their production, hire more labor. The economy gonna be recover. When the economy recover, I, as a Central Bank of Japan, okay, I can sell back my bad asset to the economy. After the economy going good, I can sell back my asset for the profit. So for the Central Bank, no lose at all. Okay, no lose at all. Okay. The way they're doing this, buy back the bad asset, they call it bail out. Okay, bail out. However, during that time, Central Bank of Japan, BOJ, reject to do this. They don't want to do this. Okay, so since Bank of Japan reject to do this, so it's gonna be during that time, the Central Bank of Japan reject to doing this. So then during that time, the government actually doing this. Okay, so the government of Japan, okay, use tax, okay, to help bank. Okay, so actually since Bank of Japan reject to do this, so then the government of Japan use the money from taxpayer to help the banking system, to help the commercial bank. So this is very weird, okay, it's very weird. Okay, so that's so good. So then, okay, the problem of Japanese economy during that time is the money supply, the number of money, the quality of the money in the economy is not high, it's not high enough, it's not enough, let's say, okay. So then during that time, okay, economy of Japan need, okay, money creation or credit creation. Okay, they want money creation, they want credit creation, okay, because during the time economy is bad, it's difficult to do the business, it's difficult to borrow the money. So what every company, every household want is they want to borrow the money, the new fresh money, in order to revive from the crisis. Okay, so they want money creation, create more money. They want credit creation. Okay, they want to borrow the money. Okay, so then what Professor Werner, okay, what Professor Richard Werner proposed, okay, during that time to solve this problem is very easy. Okay, he say that BOJ, Bank of Japan, can buy the real estate, okay, or land, okay, from bank, okay, and turn it to a park, okay. One, bad debt in bank go down to more money in the economy, free. So what Professor Richard Werner say that the Bank of Japan what they can do to solve the crisis problem is they can easily buy back the land or the real estate from the bank. Okay, they can buy back the land or real estate from the bank. Okay, during that time, since they have the crisis, banking system, many commercial banks have a lot of land in their hands. Have a lot of land and real estate, a big building in their hand. You can think about that, the big company, let's say Company A. Company A during the bubble era borrow a lot of money and spend that money to buy many lands, to buy many buildings. When during the bubble era, Company A, okay, borrow a lot of money to buy lands, the building, the real asset, by hoping that in the future the price is going to going up and then they can sell it for profit. However, after the bubble burst, the price of land going down, the price of stock, the price of asset, the price of real estate going down. So then the company A become bankrupt because the company A are unable to pay back the debt because they spend all the money to buy lands, to buy real estate by hoping that the price is going to going up. Since the price is not going up, the price even going down because the bubble burst. So then they are unable to pay back the debt. So they become bankrupt. So when they become bankrupt, they cannot pay back the debt. Okay, the bank that they borrow the money from, okay, gonna take over all the asset of the land. So then the banking system in the economy have a lot of land, have a lot of real estate, and all of them are bad debt because the value of that land and real estate is very low, lower than they expect. Okay, for example, company A borrow $1 million yen. However, after the bankrupts, okay, and then the bank take over the land, the value of land is actually 500,000 yen, okay, lower than the money they borrow. So this is we call that debt. So what the Central Bank of Japan can do is, the Central Bank of Japan can use their money, spend their money to buy all the bad debt, to buy, for example, all the real estate, land from the bank. For example, your bank have lost because you're lending a lot of money, but the asset that you get because they are bankrupt is very low value, okay? So you don't have fresh money, you don't have cash to lend it out anymore, okay? So you cannot make a profit. The bank gonna become bankrupt soon, okay? So what BOJ can do, Bank of Japan can do is, okay, you have many land, you have real asset, you have a bad debt, give it to me, and then I pay the fresh money to you, okay? So you sell the asset and the land to me, I pay the money to you. So the banking system, the commercial bank gonna get more cash. Since they get more cash, they can lend that cash out, okay, to some potential company. So that potential company, productivity company, after they get the lending, after they can borrow the money, okay, so they can invest in their business. The business gonna become recover, going up, and then the bank gonna get a profit. The bank can be survive. Okay, so by doing this, buying back all the bad debt, buying back all the real estate. Okay, after Central Bank have many of the land, many of the real estate, they can easily turn it into a park. Okay, turn it into a park. So they're gonna have three main profit. The first profit is the bad debt in the bank decreasing. When the bad debt decreasing and get more cash. Okay. Banking system, okay, commercial bank have more power, have more performance to get the profit, so the bank survive. Second one, they're gonna have more money into the economy. When they have more money into the economy become recover. Number three, since they have many parks in Tokyo, have many parks in Osaka, in the city in Japan, the quality of life increasing. They can keep doing like that for just 5 years to 10 years. After the economy recover, after everything going up again, land price is going to become more expensive again. Bank of Japan can sell it later for profit. Okay. So then, for the Bank of Japan, no cost at all, no loss at all, okay? Because they can sell the land later when the economy become going up again for the profit, okay? So this is very easy idea, okay? And again, all this we call bail out. All this we call bail out, and I'm gonna give you a homework later about bail out. Okay? So that's so good? Okay? However, even though Bank of Japan can do many things to solve the recession, to solve the crisis, however, during that time, Bank of Japan is actually doing nothing. Okay? Okay, so Professor Richard Berner said that Bank of Japan doing nothing because they have some hidden agenda. Okay, they have a hidden agenda. They try to prolong the recession for some purpose. Okay, what they want is they want the whole country to have a structural change. Structural change in the term of economic system and in the term of politics system too. Okay. And then after doing this, create a big bubble, make a bubble burst, creating a crisis, okay, and prolong the crisis, okay, until one day, okay, the structural change become true, okay, they become successful to doing that, okay. So then, what happened next is, okay, Ministry of Finance, okay, get a brand for crisis. Okay, everyone in the Japanese society, everyone in the Japan country blame Ministry of Finance for the crisis. Okay, and then after that, okay, after that, BOJ, okay, they creating a new laws in the country, and then they create a new law to allow Bank of Japan to be independent from Ministry of Finance, okay, in 1998. This is what they want in the end. Okay, so Bank of Japan try to do everything, okay, creating a bubble, make a crisis, and bring everything to the Ministry of Finance because they just want to be independent from Ministry of Finance in the end. This is what Professor Richard Berner tried to say. Okay. Okay, so this is part 1. I'm going to stop here. Okay, and then I'm going to come back later. Let me have some break. Okay. Part 1. This is part 1.